I'm sure you saw those photos the immigration officer leaked of Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert's family leaving Uganda. And of course, those photos did not leave Museveni propagandists, the likes of Andrew Mwenda, and very many at rest. Yeah, they all came out, attacking Kyagulanyi, attacking Ugandans, attacking supporters of NUP, attacking everyone who believes in the ideology of a non-fictional social, economic, and political change. But before I go deep into what transpired in the past, what Kyagulanyi has said, of course, I'm also going to play you his audios, what he said when he was briefing the media. Let me first read for you a statement from Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert on the same issue. Here it reads, "Friends, I have seen regime enforcers and propagandists trying to question the travel of my children out of the country as we get close to the election. Of course, everyone knows that their statements are not born out of genuineness, but out of their usual schemes to diminish our resolve to remove their corrupt regime. Firstly, the nation is aware of the challenges my family endured from the time I decided to take on the dictatorship of General Yoweri Museveni. My children have lived in constant fear over the past 3 years. On several occasions, the cars which trailers have been trailing them, even to and from school. Last year, there was a direct attack on a car transporting 2 of them from school, forcing us to change their schools and try to strengthen security around them. For most of this year, they have largely lived as prisoners, very rare leaving home. As we near the election, I received credible information from sources within the system of plans by the regime to cause physical harm to them. You all recall that in 2017, at the height of the age limit debate, they threw grenades at my son Solomon Sekaya's bedroom window and left a message that I should back off or the consequences would be there. The regime has made it a deliberate plot to attack me, and when they don't, attack those who are close to me so as to demoralize me. There is nothing Museveni is not ready to do in order to stay in power against the will of Ugandans. That is why, therefore, when I received information of pending physical attacks on me, my wife, and the kidnap of our children, friends in the diaspora reached out to us, offered to host them for a while. That does not mean that me or my wife are any safer by remaining around. But our effort is to ensure they don't kidnap one of those minors and try to use them to coerce us into subjugation. The regime propagandists should be very ashamed. In a free and democratic country, nobody should live in fear simply because they oppose the government in power. In a free country, a presidential candidate would never have to wear a bulletproof jacket and helmet in order to go for campaigns. That is the country we are struggling to build. General Museveni should even be more ashamed that 35 years later, children have to yet again run away from their country over fears of vengeful attacks. You can also see the unprofessional conduct of the immigration staff who went ahead to share confidential travel information of minors with the public. None of our institutions is independent. Every part of government is being misused and abused by the regime. That's the country we are living in. We are removing a dictator. So that is the post, or that is the statement from the president of the National Unity Platform, our next president, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. He made this after Museveni propagandists came out and yelled at him while he had to, take his children away from Uganda. But before I give you what Kyagulanyi said in words, I'm going to play you his audio. I want us to highlight a few things here because there has been a lot the president has said, including an attack on his family. When children are coming back from school. When they are going to school, they are being trained. You guys see how Kyagulanyi is being trained by over 30 police patrols and a mobile prison. And actually there are already some cars, numberless, private cars trailing him wherever he goes. Remember, this is a gentleman whose house is under surveillance 24/7. Cameras were planted at his house. Remember, even last time, drones were, rotating around his home in the sky, and then the police spokesperson came out and said those were stars. And you wonder which kind of school this police spokesperson went to. Can you really see a star just in the sky like this, and you can even touch it? Some of these people, they needed to, come up with lies the public can actually buy. Do you know calling a drone a star? So this is a gentleman whose house was bombed in 2017. He has said that they received information of pending physical attacks on himself, the wife, and the kidnap of his children. Of course, to coerce him into subjugation, to coerce him to make him surrender, because when someone, kidnaps your family, children, wife, of course, they can force you do whatever they want. But of course, just like he has said, friends in the diaspora, they said, hey, no, bring those kids. We are going to take care of them for a while. And that was the best thing to do. To me, I think actually our president delayed taking these kids out of Uganda. Yes, but the good thing, he has eventually done it. Imagine, there is a part where he said these kids were no longer living home. They were living like prisoners, rarely moving out. They had to change schools and tighten the security of the kids. First hear this audio. This was in 2017 when grenades were thrown at the Kyagulanyi Sentamu's house because he was too vocal during that time of Tojikwatako, during that time of age limit bill. Remember, he opposed it so much to the point that he even composed a song, Freedom. Freedom. We are fighting for freedom. We are living in a time similar to the one of slave trade. This oppression is worse than apartheid. The gun is the master, citizen slave. The power of Africa's breeding. Question: what was the purpose of a liberation when we can't have a peaceful transition? What is the purpose of a constitution when the government disrespects the constitution? That song, he composed it still in 2017, during that time of Tojikwatako, because he was sending out a message to the dictator that, hey, we only have one hope in that constitution. Don't dare touch it. But, first hear what Kyagulanyi said during that time when grenades were thrown at his house.
Kyadondo East MP Robert Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Bobiwine, put up a post on his Facebook page announcing an attack on his home at about 1 a.m. on Monday night. And early morning, his house in Magere, off Gayaza Road in Wachiso district, was a scene of crime, as police officers from the bomb squad picked plastic and metallic shrapnels from the two grenades the MP says exploded at his home. The people who threw the explosives are said to have taken vantage point at this very wire mesh, which acts as a hedge, and then threw it about 30 meters away to the other side. And they were very exact because whatever the explosive they threw landed exactly at the bedroom window of Kyagulanyi's son.
One of the grenades was thrown and it hit here, as you can see. Another hit here, according to the police. Even dug here. Then another one hit here.
Pieces of glass from the bedroom window that was hit and parts of the grenade were on the ground. I asked Kyagulanyi's wife Babi Tungo how her firstborn Solomon reacted when the blast went off on his bedroom window.
He came very sure that this had come for him. He said, "Mommy, this is on my window, they hit my window."
The Kyadondo East MP says in the last few days, some anonymous people have been sending him threats over the phone, for his opposition to the removal of the 75-year age limit in the constitution for one to seek election as president.
Even if you kill me, you cannot kill the desire of Ugandans.
Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesman Emilian Kaima explains the type of grenade that was detonated at Kyagulanyi's home.
These are factory-made hand grenades with a less shattering effect.
Since the grenades were not improvised explosive devices and therefore factory-made, it means the explosives were smuggled into the country by individuals or taken from security forces, who are the only ones allowed to have them by law.
Where were they made? When were they imported? Who holds them? Which years? All those will come from that.
A similar grenade attack happened at the residence of Machinde West MP Alan Sewanyana in Lusaka Kazinga Machinde Division in Kampala. 2 explosions were also recorded here. The grenade cleared everything in its way.
After waking up, I had another one, a second one. This one I witnessed. I saw some fires from it and some particles when I went outside my home. Were found in the compound in form of fragments.
The 2 opposition legislators are now worried for their lives.
I thought that they would arrest us just and then take us to prisons for some years. But if now it comes to endangering our lives, I think government has to come out very clearly about such.
I don't feel safe. My family is in fear. My children are in fear.
Last week, unknown people also hurled 2 grenades at the home of Lubaga North MP Moses Kasibant in Lunguja, Lubaga Division in Kampala. The attack happened shortly after police had dropped off Kasibant at his home at about 1 a.m. following a scuffle earlier in the day at Parliament when the opposition lawmaker was arrested and detained for about 10 hours.
That was in 2017 during age limit battle. You remember that time of Tojikwatako. Of course, a survey was made and 80% said don't dare touch our constitution. But you saw what happened. Yeah, MPs were bribed and the bill was passed and the age limit was scrapped off, and that's why we are into this mess. This is what Kyagulanyi said. Actually, I want you to listen to him very well, because very many were asked. Very many propagandists came out to attack him, attack friends, attack supporters, attack everyone of this act Kyagulanyi did. So this is what Bobiwine said.
It is clear that the regime propagandists are trying to twist any measure of safety that I am giving to my children. My children are minors, they are young, from age 5, 8 and others. All of you have seen that my family and all those people around me have been targeted. Just in 2017, grenades were thrown at the bedroom of my son. And I have credible information that they were planning to kidnap my children in order to coerce me into subjugation. They were trying to use my family and to use my children. And so, in a dictatorship and in a dangerous situation like Museveni, I decided to yield to the numerous advice that I got from friends to get my children out of this danger zone. After all, they are not voters, they are minors. We had offers from friends in the diaspora to host them, and after so much consultation, I yielded to it and allowed them to host our children. I must also remind the people of Uganda that Mr. Museveni and his propagandists that are trying to make this look like a crime, Mr. Museveni had to take his family to Sweden. All of them were in Sweden while he was facing Obote, who he called a dictator. So it is only in the safety, in the desire for safety for those little ones that the regime was planning to kidnap and put on gunpoint so that they can coerce me into subjugation. Now I am here to face you, Mr. Museveni. You want me? Come for me. Leave my children out of this. I am here, my wife is here, we are adults, we are the voters, and I am the candidate. So I am here if you want me.
So are you saying that your children have been, you've gotten information that your children are going to be?
Yes, I had credible information that my children that some of my children were going to be kidnapped. And that was the most soft spot of me. When they kidnap your child, they can weaken you. That is why I decided to yield to the advice to get my kids out of this. And many cars have been following my children. I try to change their schools constantly. Many of them they've not been leaving home because they were living in fear. There was a plan to kidnap them. And that is why I accepted and took the advice to get them out of the country.
This seems to be just a theory, but I want you to have a message of some people who think that you are whisking your children away from the country and leaving children of other Ugandans to die in the country. What message would you have for them? I
am somebody's child. I am somebody's father. My wife is somebody's child and she's somebody's mother. We are the voters. We have not preached any violence. It is the regime that has been preaching and has been practicing violence on the people. We don't carry any guns. We don't carry any weapons. It is the regime that has weapons and they've been murdering people. I am in the country. I've not gone anywhere. I offered myself and sacrificed myself for the country. I and my wife are here. It is clear that the regime has been targeting everybody close to me, but most importantly, my family. Right from 2017, they threw grenades at the bedroom of my son, trying to kill him. And they sent a message to me that I either back down from the Tojikwatako process or my children will be harmed. They've been trailing and following my children. I had to change their schools, but they continued to follow them. I had confined the children at home for the longest time because I originally had information that they were targeting them. Recently, we had very credible information that they were intending to kidnap some of my children in order to coerce me into subjugation, to accept things that I didn't believe in, or to make me say things or make statements that I don't believe in. So I was advised by various leaders and various elders to get my minor children out of the country for safety. I'm glad that some friends in the diaspora offered to host them for a while when it is as dangerous as it is right now. And that's why, following all these threats of kidnapping my children and harming them physically, I decided to agree with that advice and got the children out of danger, out of the country. But I am here in the country and my wife is here in the country. And to also the regime propagandists that are trying to use it against this revolution of ours. I want to remind you that when General Museveni was fighting with Obote, he had to take his children out of the country, and all those Natashas and Muhozis were living in Sweden while the war was raging. So it is only sensible for me to get the miners out of the country, to get the miners out of danger. If Mr. Museveni wants me, I am here. Let him face me, let him keep away from my children. I know what he and his regime of blood and national shame was planning to do to my children, and I'm thankful to the people that gave me the information and advised me. Shame on all of them that were trying to use the children to subjugate me. Now you cannot do anything. I am here. Whatever you want to do, do it to me. I am an adult like you.